Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited but also a little overwhelmed. I have a ton of products in front of me. I'm going to be doing my Sephora VIB sale recommendations. So this is where I go over the best of the best, the products that really stand out to me that I think are worth checking into if you're going to be shopping this sale. I'm going to be focusing on mostly new products that have been launched since the last Sephora sale. There may be a couple repeats if I feel super strongly about them. So what I'm going to do is link down below all the products that I go through today, and then underneath that I will have products I'm still loving, because a lot of the times there is products that I'm literally still obsessed with. When I checked back to the last sale in my recommendations, I'm still loving 99% of those products, but I don't want to be too repetitive. So I want to really focus in on the newer launches in this video with a couple just really amazing products thrown in if I feel strongly enough about them. So everything will be linked down below, all the products I talk about. I'm going to be moving quickly because I have a lot to go over. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you enjoyed these videos, please give this video a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so it's that time of year, the Sephora VIB sale. I look forward to this twice a year. This is where I really stock up on the products that I love. And then I do tend to buy some value sets and gift sets to try different products. And then of course, maybe splurge on a couple luxury items. So there's different tiers at Sephora. So each tier gets a different percentage off and then different dates to shop. The sale does start October 28th and it runs through November 7th, but I'm gonna put all of the info down in my description box, and then I will put some on the screen so you can kind of get a feel for the dates. If you are not a beauty insider, I highly recommend signing up. It's completely free and you will be able to shop this sale and get 10% off. So I'll have all the information down below, but let's go ahead and start off. I thought this year we'll start off with a bang and talk about eyeshadow palettes. Starting off with the palette I'm wearing right now, I've really been enjoying this, and this is the new Natasha Denona My Dream palette. I do tend to love her formula, and I do also really love the midi size. So you get a lot of different options, but the price point isn't as painful. I really think this is a purple pinky palette. Now, when I look at these shades, yes, it does look neutral, but really what stands out to me is the purple shades down here, which is mostly what I use today. You have some of those cream to powder formulas, which I actually really love. So I mixed this shade, which is a cream to powder, with I think actually, yep, this deep brown shade for a smoky wing. And then I just used this on the lid, this on the inner corner. And then I used some of the matte shades to blend through the crease on the lower lash line. But I just love her formula. I think it's super easy to work with. It is a luxury price point, but honestly, Natasha has some of my favorite palettes, so I think if you love this color story, you won't be disappointed. I also have to give props to Huda Beauty for her Empowered eyeshadow palette. This is a beautiful palette, especially if you like gold tones, very metallic shades, and very warm shades. So this, I feel like a lot of people asked me if I like this or the Natasha more. I personally would reach for the Natasha more, solely because this is very deep and sultry. Most of the shimmers in here are very dark. They're not like a light shimmer that I have on my lid, and I think that's why I prefer the Natasha color story. But it's no secret that I also love the Huda Beauty palettes. I love her formula. This is a dark, sultry, smoky palette. This would be something I would reach for maybe like New Year's Eve or a Christmas party, whereas the Natasha I could use like every day and also take it tonight. The only shades I don't love in here are these two cream shades. They're not really good for liner in my opinion. They're more so for like a base to put another shade on top. But I think if you want depth and you like warm gold tones, this is a beautiful palette. Now, even though this is not brand new, this did launch, I think actually during the last sale or right after it. So I have to give a shout out to the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2. So the original I still recommend, I still love it, but this is the second version or second volume. This one leans a little bit more romantic pinky, but to me this is still very neutral, very wearable, and I do believe that he improved the shimmer shades in this palette. They're not as hard pressed, but they still give you that gorgeous like glittery, I call it sophisticated glitter on the lids. I am never not going to love the formula in these Patrick Ta palettes, so I had to give this a shout out even though it's not new. Another palette I recommend, but it's not brand new, is the ABH Nouveau palette. This is my favorite palette from ABH of all time. I know a lot of people like the soft glam, but I think that this formula is much creamier, more elevated. Something about the formula in this is really the best that they've ever done, and the color story is unique. It's still wearable for every day because it does have some lighter tones, and I do like a peachy color. I love this purple color, and the greens in here match beautifully with these shades, surprisingly. So if you've been on the fence about this palette, the formula is honestly the best from ABH. I would definitely recommend. Also want to quickly mention the new palette from ABH, which is the Rose Metals. So here's my only complaint. I wish that there was lighter shimmers in here, but I will say that if you have a deeper skin tone or you like sultry, deep looks that are grungy and gunmetal, this is going to be the palette for you. It has a lot of depth, and the shimmers in here are pretty much all super dark. This is the only light shade. So for every day, again, this is not something I would reach for, but when I do want to do like a New Year's Eve look or a smoky look, this is a palette I would reach for. I am really into cool tones, as I've mentioned many times lately, and the formula on this is really good. Shockingly, I only have one face palette that I'm going to recommend, and I'm a little disappointed because I've tried so many recently and I didn't end up loving any of those enough to tell you guys to go out and buy them. But the one that I am going to recommend is the Hourglass. So Hourglass came out with these ambient lighting palettes, and they were super unique on their website because you could customize. Now on Sephora, I don't believe you can, but my two picks are the Tiger and the Elephant. So this is the type of product for me personally that I would reach for on the daily basis. Because Hourglass powders are very light and ethereal and glowy, it's not something I would use to like contour or get a really chiseled look. I cannot get this open. Okay, so let's start off with the Tiger. This one I think is beautiful if you have like medium, tan, deeper skin tone. These are actually a lot of finishing powders, but I can use this as a bronzer, and I would say I'm like a light medium. Love the blushes in here, and then you can also use this as a blush as well. So this is more of that like glowy, burnt terracotta type of vibe. And then for every day, the Elephant is my go-to, just because, I mean, let's be real. It has the pink, beautiful blushes that I love, the bronzer that works for my skin tone, and then it does have a couple of those setting powders and then this highlighter. So I think if you love the Hourglass formula, you want something glowy that can kind of be an all-in-one. I mean, you could use this on your eyes. You can multi-use these powders really any way you want to, and I think the packaging this year and the color stories were beautiful. The only one that I wasn't crazy about was the Butterfly, but if you've been eyeing these, I do think, especially getting a discount, this is something worth buying. Okay, so now let's get into complexion. I do have some products that I'm really excited about, and let's start off with my probably most exciting recommendation. I feel like a lot of you have already purchased it, and I'm so excited to see your feedback. I've already gotten a couple DMs with you guys saying you love it, but if you only buy one of my recommendations and you have texture and pores, please let it be the Glowish Blur Jam. I honestly thought this was gonna do nothing. I demoed this in a first impressions maybe a month ago, and then I kept using it and I was like, oh my God. I just kept noticing by the end of the day, my makeup still looked flawless. So here's what's interesting. This is silicone free, which I don't really care about, but if you do, that's something that is nice. It is fragrance free, which I love. And I love the texture of this. It looks interesting in the jar, but it really smooths out and gives you sort of like this soft gel feel. It gives you hydration while also controlling my oils. So when I use this, I don't get oily by the end of the day, my makeup stays put, and I look smooth all day long. I am super hard on myself. I have pores and texture. It is what it is, and being on camera, a lot of the times I really feel bad about it, even though it's like, hello, I'm human. And this has really helped me feel more confident. It has replaced all of my other blurring primers, and I still have other ones obviously in my collection, but I find that every every time I do like a half and half on my own time, because I've been sort of testing, there's something special where this one just looks a little bit more perfected. So top pick. I hope you guys pick this up and let me know what you think. I do have one other blurring primer, and you're probably going to be like, well, why, if you love the glowish? I do like to have options in my collection, and I do like to give you options in case one sells out, or maybe there's something more appealing about another product. I did a side-by-side with this primer and the glowish multiple days in a row, and it was very slight that the glowish looked a little bit more perfected at the end of the day, but I did still want to recommend the Cali Ray So Blown Primer. I think this is a great option if you want a clean blurring primer. So this is a hydrating pore erasing oil control. Now this looks good alone. Same as the glowish. They both look great with nothing on. You can definitely see the blur, but they also do both look beautiful under makeup. So this one comes out almost like a gel, and it really smooths over the skin, again, very nicely like the glowish. So it really is your preference, but if I had to choose, I'm gonna go with my glowish, but honestly, both of these have really impressed me. So in terms of foundation, I have two new ones that I wanted to mention. The first one I'm wearing right now mixed with my L'Oreal Infallible. So this is the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I thought I was gonna hate this, and honestly, it is gorgeous. It's a medium coverage, I can build it. It doesn't enhance my texture, which typically a lot of very glowy foundations do. It wears well. I do get a little bit oily hours in, so that's why I like to mix it. But if you want something that has a little bit more of that glowy finish, not like radiant slipping all over, but just a little bit more of that healthy feel, say like the Luminous Silk, which I love, but a little bit more coverage, I think you would love this. And again, I use it a lot mixing. And then my next one is the Lancome Tint Idole Care and Glow. Again, I thought I wasn't gonna like this. I actually wore the Lancome Tint Idole Original on my wedding day. I love that foundation, and this really is very much like that with a little bit of glow. It has a nice glow, but it also still feels sort of matte. So if you are more dry or you like more glow, Hourglass I would recommend. If you like more of a matte with a little bit of that glowy finish that wears beautifully, the Lancome. They both wear really well, but the Lancome definitely has more of that matte feel, so it does wear better without having to, you know, touch up as much. But both of these, very impressed with, definitely recommend. Gonna quickly skip through powder because I do have to drive it home how much I love these powders, but you've heard me rave about them many times, so I'm gonna keep it short. Huda Beauty and Pound Cake is top tier. Gone through multiple jars, super smoothing, absolutely flawless, lightweight, never clings. It is my favorite. I wish she would get rid of the fragrance, but I have heard that she may, so definitely a top pick. And then the One Size powders. I have two shades here. I have another one downstairs in my purse. This is sort of like the MAC Fix Plus, but I would say more hydrating. If you've ever tried the MAC Fix Plus powder, great coverage if you need added coverage, very smoothing, and it just blurs all your imperfections. Great touch-up powder. Honestly, just super impressed with this. So this is something else that I would definitely recommend. If you're looking for smoothing, these are your girls. Surprisingly, I only have one new bronzer to rave about this year. I will list below some of the other ones that I'm still loving, but it's actually a cream bronzer. The LYS bronzer stick is incredible, incredibly pigmented. This does run a little bit dark, but a little goes a long way. So a couple little dots, blend it out, and you will be literally snatched. This is incredibly emollient and creamy, but I find because it's pigmented, it's not like sticky or lifting. It has a lot of pigment to it, so it really blends out, and for me really gives me a crazy intense contour, which is really the only reason that I personally would reach for a cream contour. So if you want that really intense, like Kim Kardashian, really beautiful chiseled contour, this is an amazing product. And I struggle, we all know this, I struggle with cream products, especially cream bronzers and contours. So if it works for me, I really don't see how it wouldn't work for anyone. Next, let's talk about my favorite category, which is going to be blush. Surprisingly, I don't have too many new ones. I'm still loving the ones I recommended last year, but I do have to say that the Sephora collection blushes are gorgeous. I do think these are gonna sell out, and it really just, you know, it stresses me out a little bit because I think you guys would love these if you haven't tried them. My two favorite colors are Date Night and Fascinated. So I'm wearing both of these. Fascinated has a little bit more of like that glowy finish, but it's not, you know, glittery, or it's not gonna enhance your texture. And then Date Night really is like that gorgeous hot pink doll look. Absolutely incredible. I think I have more shades. I couldn't find them, but right here I have 3. They blend effortlessly. They're not too pigmented where you can't apply them without looking crazy, but they're also not sheer where you have to do a ton of layers. So definitely recommend. Now, if you like a really glowy blush, again, if you like sort of like that hourglass vibe, the RMS Beauty blushes are gorgeous. Now, I made the mistake of buying too many, and these are the only 2 shades that I find work for me. This is the shade Mai Tai, absolutely stunning. It really just gives you like that coral orange look to your cheeks. Gorgeous. And then my favorite has to be French Rose. This, I actually saw a Haus Labs, I think, highlighter that looks like this, and I was gonna purchase it, but it was sold out. But this has a lot of pigment to it. So even though it looks really glowy, there's a lot of pigment packed in here. So it's not just like a blush topper. These are actually blushes. This is like the baby doll blush, but with a beautiful glow. This is my favorite, and then Mai Tai if you like more of that like coral sunset look, but these are beautiful if you love a really glowy blush, but you don't wanna mess with creams. I also have a soft spot for this one blush from Benefit, which is the shade Shelly. I didn't think that I was gonna love this shade, so I got a mini, but there's something special about this shade in particular. It has a really pretty like coral peachy, almost like creamsicle color. Now you do have to build this up, and it can be powdery, but this has a really beautiful glow to it. It really builds up. It's one of those that I feel like almost reminds me of the M Cosmetics powder blushes. I build this color up, and I can put it like all over my nose, and I look just like sun-kissed and just really glowy without looking, you know, like glittery or like my texture is enhanced or anything like that. So I honestly didn't think I was gonna love this. The reason I bought this is because I think there was a brand trip and I saw Manny wearing this shade, and I was like, he's wearing that shade because it looked so beautiful. So that's why I bought it. And this one honestly is my favorite. I think I have like 3 or 4 shades, and this one beats all of them for me. Lastly, in the blush category, I did want to touch on Patrick Ta. So he came out with a new palette that had his cream blushes, which you know I love, the duos with the powder. I was so excited, and this year there was a highlighter as well. Now, while I love the 2 blushes, I don't love the highlighter, and I said in my video I didn't think this was inclusive, and he also changed the formula, so this year's palette has like shimmer, which I know a lot of people may not like. So while I love the 2 blushes in that palette, I can't recommend the palette because I don't think that most of you will be happy with it unless you have like the exact same blush, you know, preferences as I do, and you love a glowy baby doll blush. But I know you can get the palette from last year, you can get these blush duos as singles, and I would highly recommend doing that. If you're on the fence and you're like, oh, but you know, I want the value, I understand what you're saying, but I think this was his best launch to date. I don't know why he changed the formula this year. It's really disappointing, but these 2 shades and this shade looks scary, but it's absolutely gorgeous on the cheeks. I have a video on this, but I can't go without recommending his blush duos because truly the formula is super special. So if you tried this year's palette and you were let down, definitely try his blush duos that are in the singles. I'm just a bit let down that he had the opportunity to come out with, you know, a second version of this palette and really knock it out of the park. And I feel like this year's just fell flat. It's not going to work for as many people as last year's. But with that said, I do still highly recommend his blush duos in the single format. Okay, so I have one setting spray to mention. I feel like I'm a broken record, but I really have to just tell you, if you've not tried the Charlotte Tilbury, you need to try it. The Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, I've gone through multiples of these. They have a duo kit for holiday too. I just love this formula. It's not drying, but it locks your makeup in all day. So if you've not tried this and you're looking for something to lock your makeup in all day long, this is it. Moving on to lips, I do have some lip balms that I wanted to touch on, or lip treatments. So you know I have to talk about my Too Faced Hangover Pillow Balms. Absolutely obsessed with these. I feel like I've gotten an army of you guys buying these. I feel like we're all just like, yes, the pillow bombs. Like, we ride hard for these. Watermelon is my favorite. I like mango. I like banana. The only one I wasn't really crazy about was chocolate, but that's a personal preference. These are just incredible. They coat your lips. They really hydrate your lips. They have a beautiful tint to them. They have like a little cooling sensation, but it doesn't hurt like at all. It's not like a burn or anything like that. I just can't get enough of these. I honestly just cannot be without these, and it is my top pick if you have dry lips. Also have to shout out the Fenty Skin Lip Oil. This is one of my favorite lip oil formulas because it's actually hydrating. It is incredibly, incredibly shiny, so it gives you a beautiful shine on the lips. It smells like cherry, but what I love about this is it's very thick and it hangs on, so you really feel like your lips are being nourished and hydrated. It's not just gonna slide right off. This is one of my favorite formulas, this and the Jaclyn Cosmetics. Now this has a very slight tint, but honestly it's mostly clear. And this is something that I use more to really hydrate my lips, like before makeup or on like a no makeup day, just because it really is that nourishing. Now if you're looking for a lip balm with SPF, highly recommend the K Skin. This has an SPF of 30. This smells so good. It's like vanilla, I don't know, vanilla goodness, and this is super high shine. It's almost like a lip oil, but with SPF in it, and there's no funky scent. This really hangs on. I went to Florida a couple times this year, and I just like slathered this all over my lips, and it was there for hours. My lips did not get burnt, and it was hot. Like, we were on the beach for like 6 hours one day, and this is also like 14 bucks before discount. So I've really been intrigued by this brand. It's also a Black owned brand, in case you were curious, but I've gone through a couple of these. I even sent one to Cheryl, and she's in love as well. In terms of lip liners, I'm still absolutely loving the Anastasia Beverly Hills and the Makeup by Mario. I just love the colors. They have so many different tones for like a nude lip, whether you like brown or you like a warmer tone or pink or mauve. They have all of them. They even have cool tone colors. I would say the ABH is a little bit less creamy than the Mario, and the Mario has the little brush on the end so you can blend together. But honestly, both formulas absolutely top tier. I have purchased, I don't even know, like 5 or 6 of each brand because I love them that much. I have one new liquid lipstick that I cannot stop using. I've talked about this many times, and this shocked me because honestly, I bought it for the packaging, and I was like, why'd you buy that? You're not gonna like it, but I actually love it. This is the Gucci liquid lipstick, and I love this shade called Grace Cinnamon. It is a gorgeous light pinky color. I love this formula because it's very thin. It's almost like watery, like a tint. So I can layer this on and it doesn't get gunky. It doesn't get those lines. It's not like dry cracking because it is so thin. It's almost like a watercolor type of feel. So like 2 layers, you get full opacity. 1 layer, you just get like this nice blurred look on the lips. I just cannot stop reaching for this. I also have it in Cornelia Pink, which is a little bit of a deeper color. I would say, just upon my impression of the formula and the light shades I have, I would not get this formula in a deeper shade just because it is a little on the sheer side, so I could see it being streaky if you're trying to do like a deep red or something like that. But if you want something that's going to dry down and last for hours without getting like gunking in the corners of your mouth or the dreaded butthole lips that we all know and we all do not enjoy, I would recommend checking this out. I have been thoroughly impressed with this. I have a new gloss recommendation for those of you that like lip glosses like I do. If you like something with pigment, if you like something that has stick to it, so it's really going to last all day long, you need to get the Give Beauty. I have every single shade and I love the tones on these. They give me such like MAC lip gloss vibes, just very thick, sticky, pigmented, and I know some of you are like, what? Like, that's not for me, and that's why I'm being very transparent about the formula. But if you like that type of formula, you will love these. So I'm gonna apply a little bit more. I had this on earlier in my intro, so you really need just a little bit. This is the color Sweet Tooth, and then I just sort of blend it into my lips, and it gives me a nice shine that's not going to slip all over my face, but it also lightens and manipulates my lip color. So that's why I really love the lighter shades, because they have so much pigment to them. They really can give you that pop in the center of your lips that you guys know I love. These smell absolutely incredible too. Like, delicious, delicious. Now, if you want more of a high shine gloss that doesn't have a lot of pigment, but you want something that's going to hang on and really give you that gorgeous like glass lip look, Patrick Ta, again, these are absolutely gorgeous. So I have, I think, 4 of the 5 shades, and I purchased all of these. So these are quite sheer. You're gonna get the most pigment with the red one, but these are like that clear, almost like jelly shine on your lips. So there's not gonna be pigment, but there's some sort of just like glow to these. Incredibly high shine, and these do have like a cinnamon sort of smell. Let me say, I hate cinnamon, but there's something about this that makes you feel like your breath is fresh all day, like you just had, I don't know, mouthwash or a piece of gum. They're not as sticky as the Give. I would say these are sort of in the middle, definitely not like a lip gloss, but they're not the thinnest like a lip oil, so just keep that in mind. But I absolutely adore these, and my favorite would be this red, just because it gives you almost like the look of a lip oil. Okay, so I think that's all the makeup that was new I wanted to touch on. I will have it listed down below, like in categories. So I'll have the makeup, and then again, definitely check at the other products I'm still loving, because there's so many products. I just didn't want to be repetitive, and I know I have quite a few new subscribers since the last sale, so check down there if you want more of my recommendations. But I want to talk about a couple perfumes. The first one, the Clean Reserve Skin Fragrance. This is musk, 100% musk. It is so cozy. It's like a warm hug, and it could be in the summertime or the fall, winter. It really is a soft scent. If you've ever smelled Abercrombie 8, it's like that. I know that's like nostalgia, but I used to wear that in high school. It's just such a light scent that really just feels like skin musk. I don't know, there's something very comforting about this. I got the travel size, fell in love, and then picked this up, I think maybe the last sale. And then I also have a more fun, bright one, again, that I didn't think I was gonna love, but this is the Valentino Born in Roma Coral Fantasy. This is like fun, bright. I could see somebody like a wedding planner wearing this to work. It's so like juicy and fun. It has a floral element, but it's not like, oh my gosh, I have a headache, or, you know, something that's almost like a white floral. It's just much more like bright and juicy. I really love this. I like the original Born in Roma in the pink, but this one I definitely prefer. And then I do have 2 more scents. I'm realizing now that all of these are not really like fall, you know, winter fragrances, but these are scents that I've fallen in love with since the last sale. So I also have Sunfruit from Ellis Brooklyn. This one is like citrus cocktail. It's like I'm on a vacation, I'm having a cocktail. It almost has a little bit of like that liquor type vibe in it, like literally like a cocktail. So if you like that, or maybe you're going on vacation, this is the perfect scent. And then I have another one, Fleur Floria. I purchased this in store a while back. And this shocked me because this is like suntan. I don't know, with a little bit of floral in it, but very unique, like the beach. Whereas the Ellis Brooklyn is more like juicy, fruity. This one's definitely more like suntan lotion, beachy, maybe a little bit of salty in there, and it definitely has a floral note as well. So these are my top 4 new fragrances from Sephora since the last sale that I would definitely recommend. Moving on to the hair category, I found some new favorites this year and a couple that I really just want to talk about again. The first being the K18. This is a leave-in repair hair mask. So this is really interesting because you put this in damp hair after washing your hair and you don't use conditioner. So that's something that was different for me when I first tried this. Now I will say this is pricey, but for my hair, and I have a lot of hair, I would say I use maybe like 4 pumps. So you basically apply this to damp hair, let it sit, I believe for like 4 or 5 minutes, don't rinse it out, and it really just makes your hair soft and sleek. This is something that I reach for more so when I'm doing like straight hair, very similar to the Color Wow, which I will link down below as well. Highly recommend that. It's called the Dream Coat, so that's more of a spray. This is more, I would say, hydrating if you want something that's gonna make your hair very soft and sleek, but also do like a deep hydration, whereas the Color Wow is more of just like a sleek, glossy look, but I love both. So if you're looking for something that's going to really tame your flyaways or frizz and really make your hair soft, this is a great product. It is pricey, but I really enjoy using it. It's something that I would definitely repurchase. Also have to shout out my purple shampoo I cannot live without. The Olaplex is the best purple shampoo I've ever tried. Now here's why I love this. It's quick. I apply it, 2 minutes, I'm done. And I only have to use this like once a week, whereas the other purple shampoos I used to use, I'd have to leave them in for like 5, 6, 7 minutes, use them every time I wash my hair. This is intense, it is potent, so make sure that you wash your hands immediately after, but because it is so intense, it really is very convenient because I can get my hair that silver color very quickly. I also have to shout out the most expensive hair tool that I've ever purchased, but I have to say that I use it pretty much every day, and that is going to be the Dyson Airwrap. I know this is super expensive. When I purchased this, even with 20% off, it was painful. I was like, oh my gosh, it just really was painful, but I use this every single day. I use the hairdryer attachment, and I also do have the Dyson hairdryer, but for some reason, the convenience, I just use this, and then I'll just pop on the barrels and sort of switch things out. This is so nice if you want to kind of frame your face and do those like beautiful kind of like blowout looks. Now, I will say that your hair isn't going to hold a curl as much with the Dyson, but there's something about it that you can really get like the volume around your bang area, and it gives you that like blowout look that you really kind of can't get from a lot of other products. So I know it's expensive, but it is something that's going to last me for years, and I use it almost daily. If you're looking for an amazing curling iron that's going to hold your curls, the T3 is the winner for me. Wow, that rhymed. I feel like, you know, Dr. Seuss. But this in the 1 inch is my go-to. I would not recommend the ones that have like the digital on the handle because I really didn't like that one. There's something about the classic single pass 1 inch. This just curls my hair and they hold, and my hair does not hold curls. So this is the one that I reach for when I really need my hair to hold the curl for a couple days. I did just see when I was looking on Sephora, they have like a 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and I think a 1 1/4 inch design. So I'm sort of looking into possibly getting maybe like the 3/4 inch because I have hair that is very fine and it doesn't hold curls as well. The smaller the barrel, I brush through and I can get my curls to last longer. But this is my go-to if I want something that's going to give me the beautiful like bouncy curls that are gonna last for days. And my last recommendation is another hair tool that I purchased years ago, and I love this so much. This is the Amika High Tide Deep Waver. So this is basically the tool that I use to get the mermaid waves or like the crimps in my hair. Now I purchased a pink waver off of Amazon a while back, and it worked for like 2 or 3 times, and then all of a sudden it was not heating up, or it would heat up, I would start using it, and then it would turn off, like it just was malfunctioning. So that's what drove me to purchase this. I know it's more expensive, but I've had it for a couple years. It heats up incredibly fast. Literally, I put it on my hair like 1, 2, 1, 2. I mean, it's just very quick. So I can get my hair styled super quickly because I don't have the patience. Styling my hair is already a task in itself. I did see that they actually have a new version of this, and it's the Jumbo Waver. So I'm sort of eyeing that. I want to kind of check out the differences, but this is the best waver that I've tried, and I have a few in my collection. Okay guys, so I think that is everything for my Sephora VIB sale recommendations. I have a lot of products that I'm still continuing to love. When I was pulling products, I was like, oh, well, I talked about that last year or the year before. So I'm gonna link them down below. Again, if you're new to my channel and you're like, well, she only talked about 2 foundations, or she didn't talk about bronzer, or she didn't talk about this, check down below because there is just so many formulas that I am continuing to love. They just have been favorites for, you know, 6 months, a year, 2 years, and I don't want to be too repetitive. So all of that information and links will be down below, and then of course everything that I talked about today. But I'd love to know what you're picking up during the sale. What are you most excited for? And what products that I mentioned are you most interested in trying? I always love chatting with you guys in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. I will have some more videos coming surrounding the Sephora sale, so keep on the lookout for those. As always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.